I want to talk about what's been going on in the stock market and what's been going on in the cities in relation to the coronavirus and the steps they're taking to crack down and contain it, and what kind of effects it's having on the stock market, and what you should be doing now to kind of prepare for what's going to happen in the next few weeks and what's going to happen long term. From the looks of things, they're trying to shut down more and more things. They already shut down restaurants and bars in New York, except for takeout. They're probably going to go to a curfew, like a 8 p.m. curfew or something along those lines soon, I would say. And just talked to my friend in Italy, and it's pretty crazy over there. I mean, they went from just shutting down a few cities in the Lombardy region to shutting down everything, to saying that restaurants can stay open till 6 p.m. till the next day saying that they all got to shut down, but that supermarkets, banks, pharmacies, post office will stay open, to just like a day ago, now they shut down the banks, shutting down post offices because somebody caught coronavirus. And it's getting so crazy that you cannot come out of your house unless you're on your way to the supermarket or on your way to like an approved job, meaning a job that's essential, like in the food sector or something like that. And now, before it was just you could get a fine and 3 months in jail. Now he's telling me that you go outside, you have to sign some kind of paper that you swear that you don't have coronavirus. And if you sign this paper and they find you outside and find that you do have coronavirus, that's a 12-year jail sentence from what he says. Now, I don't know if that means 12 years mandatory, up to 12 years, whatever, but it's getting crazier and crazier with the steps they're going to take. And from the looks of the new cases in Italy, in the Lombardy region, they're either flat or slightly falling. So I don't know why they're still going so crazy with this, but to give you an example of how ridiculous this is, where he works is a food factory with 2,000 people, and 2 of the people have caught coronavirus and are home, and they don't give him any masks to wear in this factory. He's standing next to a bunch of other people on either side, in front and back of him, next to him, all day long, and there is no protection. And the hallway that they have to use to go to the break room or the bathroom is a narrow hallway, so you're passing hundreds of people a day, all day long. Yet that's okay, but if you want to go take a walk at midnight or walk your dog or something, they're going to give you a problem. So I don't know what the purpose of all this is, but you can be sure that it's going to be getting worse, especially in places like New York. Whether the cases get worse or not, the crackdown is going to get worse, and that effect on companies, businesses, people, obviously is going to have a long-term effect, and we don't know the extent of it yet. They're already talking about sending checks to everybody, $1,000 or whatever, basically sending you your own money and then putting you more in debt. So I don't know what effect that's supposed to have. It may help some people to pay their rent or something, but if you don't have a job and everything is closed, that's a very short-term solution. So the stock market went up a decent amount today, but it was down 3,000 points yesterday. So it's like my friend said, 8% down one day, 2% up, until we hit minus 50%. So yeah, so just a couple of up days or whatever doesn't mean anything in terms of what the effect all this stuff is going to have on the stock market, on stocks, on earnings, on companies staying in business. Already they're talking about bailouts for airlines, and I'm sure Boeing, if you see the stock price, last time I looked it was like $100. It bounced a little bit, but you know, I was always kicking myself for selling Boeing at $30 back in the late 90s, and the way it's going, I may get another shot at buying it again at $30. Who knows? So there's a lot of stuff on sale, but that doesn't mean that those are ongoing concerns, or that the current stockholders will be the stockholders after the bailout. Just like in any bankruptcy, the people who own the stock before the bankruptcy usually do not own the stock after the bankruptcy, because the bondholders get paid first, and usually they wipe out the shareholders, the stockholders, and give them a little token amount, like maybe 5% of the total new company stock. So I'm not saying that's going to happen with Boeing. They're too big to fail. They're too important with their military contracts and everything. But who knows? At this point, seems anything is possible. So I wouldn't be backing up the truck just yet to buy into this market. Like I said, we're not even below the late 2018 lows, and we're not even into a full earnings season to see what some of these companies are saying is going to be the effect going forward. There's no forward guidance. Last year's numbers mean absolutely nothing anymore, because it's a completely different ball game when everything is shut down. So I wouldn't recommend trying to go all in here. If you want to play bounces and stuff like that, that's a different story, but don't get married to any of these stocks. And one other thing is, you notice market was up pretty good today. Some stocks are up a lot, like utilities and pharmaceuticals, J&J, Amgen. Tesla's down. Okay, what happens is when there's so much fear and uncertainty, people go away from the speculative stuff and go with the safer stuff. That's just a fact. So in any market downturn, every time there's a bounce, it starts with the strongest players. So it used to be, when the market downturned, you'd look at IBM and Goldman Sachs first, and if they start ticking up, then maybe you got a bounce coming. These days it's probably more like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, those kinds of stocks. If they start bouncing up, then maybe you're going to have a bounce. But this most speculative stuff, most people don't want to touch, because when you're losing 20-30% on your 401k mutual fund that's S&P 500 or something like that, you don't really want to be messing with some stock that has no earnings like Tesla, or some speculative marijuana stock that people are hyping online and stuff like that. When things get bad, people get more conservative for sure. Another note is, like I said in my previous video, about you should be holding some cash in your house, and that it's too late to buy precious metals, at least right now, because the price of precious metals, especially silver, has dropped, and the dealers, maybe they had a lot of inventory and they're holding inventory at higher prices. But whatever the reason, maybe there's a shortage, maybe there isn't, whatever the reason, they're marking up the premiums over spot price. So in my last video, I said the premium for American Eagle silver 1 ounce coins was 40%. Today it was 95%. So it's just a ridiculous level. You wouldn't want to buy something like that, and then the premiums collapse and you're back down to losing 50% of what you paid for it, because they're selling it for 24, 25, and the silver spot price is 13. And if you try to sell it back to them, they'll probably only offer you spot. So there's no point in trying to protect yourself with some silver. Gold is a little better. The premiums are up from maybe 4% to like 7%, so not too bad. But maybe not a lot of people have the money to buy gold, and that's why all the small players are bidding up the silver stuff. I don't know, but you're better off with some cash. And a lot of banks have shortages of cash because they don't really keep a lot of cash around, so that could be an issue. And one other thing is that safe deposit boxes, if you have money or cash or precious metals, coins, whatever, in a safe deposit box in a bank, you might want to think about, not maybe, but you should definitely think about taking it out for now, or maybe permanently, or for a few months to see how things go, because even that they're already kind of cracking down on. I had a friend that went to his box the other day in New York, and not only are they doing the usual stuff about asking for ID, your debit card, your PIN number, but now they want to know his social security number. They're asking all these questions. They want to know his social security number and asking questions and stuff as if he didn't already give him his driver's license and all this. So don't be surprised if they do a curfew and you cannot go out, or they close the banks and say just use ATM machines or just use your debit or credit card to go completely electronic. Don't be surprised if you don't have access to what's in your safe deposit box. And so I would say do not leave anything that you think you may need for this potential lockdown or curfew that might be coming down the pike. So definitely go empty out your box if you have anything that you think you're going to need. So I don't know, that's probably the best advice I can give right now. Keep some cash in your house. Obviously keep some food in your house, a lot of food, and just wait until there's some kind of clarity that this thing is getting better, that companies have, wow, look at this snake, that companies have some kind of some kind of idea of where their sales and earnings are going to be going forward. And before that, don't do anything, because it's almost like looking at the stock market is a little bit like looking at the supermarkets. 3 weeks ago, everybody knew about coronavirus, but not many people were going to the supermarkets and stocking up on toilet paper and water and beans and rice and all this stuff. It's only like in the last week or so, it seems, week or two, that people are really, it's getting in their head, and they're actually now starting to panic. I mean, I have family members like that as well, that they're reading the news and all this stuff, and I said, don't you have food, extra food? No, not really. Well, you better hurry up and go get some while there's still some on the shelves. So people maybe are complacent in the stock market, thinking that everything's going to be fine, until they open up their statement and see that they're down 30% or something, and that these companies are saying that their earnings are going to be 30-40% lower next year. And that's when they may panic and really dump everything. And so, like I said, until till your friends are talking about, you know, a month ago, 2 months ago, all your friends are talking about, should I buy Tesla at $900, right? You know that's the top. So likewise, when your friends are talking about, should I dump everything in my 401k and go to cash, or tell you that they've already done that, then that might be the time to start buying stuff. So that's my update right now on what's going on and what might be the right thing to do for a while. If you agree, leave a comment. If you don't agree, leave a comment. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching.